everyone, my name is Angelica. I'm the owner of the MathMagician Services. Today we're going to be talking about niches and a common misconception about niches with your bookkeeping business. So first off, what are niches? Well, a niche is going to be a specialized, specific group or industry that you're involved in, that you've gotten to know very well, that you have a lot of authority and experience with, something that you can be an authoritative speaker on, kind of influence in those industries. And niches are important because, like I said, you're an authority figure in those different specific industries or groups. You may have certain clients or potential clients that want to work with you just mainly because they know that you're the authority in that industry. But the other day when I was in Bryce's community program that he has on Facebook for all of the students in his coaching program, I noticed that there was someone who made a comment about how to find an actual niche. Do you have to wait for someone to come to you? Do you reach out to them? And it started to get me thinking about niches because I've had my business for about 3 years now, and truth be told, I don't have a specific niche. And I feel like this is a huge sought after thing in the bookkeeping field, in the bookkeeping community, because it is something that is very helpful and something that is it's a big goal to have a niche. But I'm here to basically be a relatable business to businesses that are maybe just starting out. Maybe you don't have a niche, maybe you're struggling, maybe you're feeling the same way as the gentleman that made that post about trying to find a niche. Because basically, like I said, I've had my business for 3 years. I don't have a specific niche. But I feel like you hear this word so many times and it's detrimental to the success of your bookkeeping business when in reality, it isn't. Like I said, it is a goal that you can work towards. But let me tell you right now, if you're just starting out or if you're having trouble finding a niche, you are not alone. And it is something you can work towards, but it is not a prerequisite to owning a bookkeeping business. So let's talk about a few misconceptions about having a niche. At least specifically for me personally, maybe this will relate to you. But like I said, there's this misconception that you need a niche to be successful. But for me personally, I remember when I first started out, I was listening to podcasts, I was listening to all kinds of things about how to find a niche. And I kind of came up with in my mind a while back because I couldn't find a specific niche. I would try to reach out to people in a specific industry and no one cared. They didn't care if I had authority in that specific industry. I'm sure that will change with time. But for me, a light bulb went off probably a year and a half in, where I was like, you know what, if I keep closing myself off to these other opportunities, I'm never going to be able to find a niche because I'm never going to know exactly what I'm looking for, what I prefer, who I want to work with if I'm closing off these opportunities. So you may have an idea in your mind, you may have done some market research and figured out, oh, this specific industry actually really needs help with bookkeeping, and you've reached out to those people and they haven't gotten with you, but then you have this other business trying to get your attention and go, hey, I would love to work with you, I'm willing to pay you a really good price, and you're going, you're not in my niche, so get out of my corner. I doubt a lot of you are doing that if you're just starting out because it's important to, get clients, but I guess the fact of the matter is you don't want to be pushing people away because they don't belong in your specific group. As you grow your business, as you're more established in your niche, then I would maybe suggest, actually, you know what? I know a different bookkeeper or accountant that can handle you. I mostly work with this industry. But for me, starting out, I used to do makeup artistry. And when I did that, I worked really closely with photographers, models, stuff like that. And so when I first started out, I was like, you know what, I'm going to really focus hard on marketing to photographers because I know that they don't have time to figure out their stuff. I work very closely with them. I know some of the ins and outs of, what their business comprises of. And so I think I could be a very good person to contact for that. And so I reached out to a few photographers. Some of them kind of bit, but never really took the bait. And so I never really got a chance to work with them. But there were people that reached out to me. I had a painting company reach out to me. I had a dog grooming facility reach out to me. I had another company that it was a actual Jimmy John's franchise that reached out to me. So I had these random companies kind of reaching out to me, and I thought, you know what? maybe I will actually prefer this company. And working with them and kind of realizing the ins and outs of the business to realize that maybe this is a company I prefer, so on and so forth. So as I've grown my business, I have kind of fallen into more of a niche with certain things. Like I've kind of realized HVAC is kind of where a lot of things are heading for me. I've worked with 3 HVAC companies now, and I've actually been able to not necessarily get secrets, but learn tips and like, hey, this HVAC company does this. And I know that that's very helpful to my other HVAC companies because they kind of are learning more about their competition and what's going on and kind of staying above the curve. And so it really helps whenever you're kind of an authority in that. But let me just tell you right now that as far as the bookkeeping piece goes of working in a niche, that the bookkeeping fundamentals are pretty much all the same across every industry across the board. You may come across a different chart of accounts or may have to set up a different chart of accounts for certain things, but at least depending on like job costing or like project costing type stuff. So if you're working with retail, that's obviously going to be quite different from working in like a construction service based kind of industry. But basically, if you're working like in a service related industry, you will notice patterns throughout every business that categorizing is all the same, reconciling is all the same. There may be specific things that you have to categorize to in the chart of accounts. So for instance, HVAC, they're going to be purchasing more air conditioning, plumbing, coils, all kinds of different supplies. And so they may have that set up in a chart of accounts to keep track of. Whereas opposed to a dog grooming facility, they're going to have it set up a little more differently where they kind of have their chart of accounts set up more to track some of the grooming supplies they might be buying, some of the income that they may be getting from either like dog grooming or pet supplies or what have you that some of these dog grooming facilities offer. So there's a difference in chart of accounts, but the actual fundamentals of everything you're doing in your bookkeeping company for that company is all going to be kind of the same across the board. So why I'm saying all this is I don't want you to be sweating. I don't want you to be thinking, oh no, I don't have a niche. I'm not going to be able to make it in my bookkeeping business. And why don't I have a niche and I'm a failure? I don't want you to be thinking that because truth be told, you're opening yourself up to these opportunities, whereas other people may be shutting them out. And then you may be able to develop a niche specifically with that. And if you are looking for a specific niche, if you're just kind of like, that's great and all, Angelica, but I don't really care about what your step is. It's kind of like a long haul step of just take in a bunch of these stragglers and then see what works for you. That's worked best for me. It helped alleviate a lot of stress. But if you're wanting to find a niche, there's ways to do like market research, find out what a need is. I know there's a lot of people that started off as like real estate agents, and so they specifically target real estate agents in their bookkeeping or accounting company. And so they know exactly what is all entailed, and they have already some really good contacts set up, and they can reach out to those people, and they can be a specialist in that industry. And so doing market research, figuring out how your skills play into it, knowing what you can offer, and then where is there a need, what do you prefer to work with, but some of these things may not work out in your favor. So I just wanted to basically make this video, like I said, just kind of alleviating some stress for you guys maybe if y'all are feeling like, I just don't have a niche, I can't do this, So anyway, I hope this video kind of helped you a little bit, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. So thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!